Hello and welcome to the 215 Sports Pod. I'm Jack Morgan, alongside me, Donovan Cranage, and it's opening day. Most likely when you're seeing this, or if you're seeing it Wednesday night, we're about at opening day. Baseball is back. That's where we'll start with our first topic of the day, talking about the Phillies. And there's more to just the roster that's going on with the Phillies. There was an article released this morning regarding John Middleton and what he had to say about Harry the K being just taken out, and now we have Ghost Energy there because that's what everyone needs when they're watching the Phillies. Energy. Spoiler alert, you don't need energy. You get rage in the form of energy, so there's no energy needed. However, the quote he said, and I thought that this quote was somewhere that I thought I wanted to at least give my opinion on, because I think that what happened in this quote is kind of where I can branch out and tell you really the problem with this team right now. So he says the money we save from paving the Callis family is going to maybe buy some napkins or something like that. It's not like serious money. We're not going to go out and buy a new player. Now the money that Ghost is paying us, that could fund a player. Now here's my problem with that. First off, screw you for going after Harry Callis. Even if he didn't mean it, that's exactly how it came off. And number two, oh, wow, so you guys got that promotion over the offseason, right? How did you not get a new player with that? It definitely didn't help you to get a guy like Bo Bichette because you got out-dueled by your biggest rival. And then you couldn't even bring back Harrison Bader with the money that Ghost Energy is giving you. What a sorry excuse. And then you go into the season and everything still feels the same, and it's thanks to you. I don't want to hear about, it saved us money, maybe buy some napkins with the Harry the Case up. Come on, man. Come on, dude. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. That's where I'm at. So excited for baseball to come back. I'm getting to the roster, obviously, but the roster feels pretty much the same, and there's a couple of guys to blame for that, and one of the guys to blame for that is talking about how the money they save is going to maybe buy some napkins. Thank you. Thank you for getting rid of Harry the K because it only saved you napkins. I, for one, like napkins. Said no one.
Well, let's get into the roster because opening day's tomorrow, as you said. And speaking of Harrison Bader not returning, we're going in with 4 outfielders on the roster. So obviously Crawford, Garcia, and Marsh, your starters, and Otto Kemp, who came in as a third baseman. So that's what we're looking at with the outfield. And I guess you have Kyle Schwarber, if he even counts at this point. Obviously, he's the designated hitter. Yeah. Can he play outfield? Probably not. Are they going to probably throw him out there for a game in May? Probably, because I don't know what's going on with this team. The infielders,
there's not much to know.
The infielders are, as expected for the most part, Bohm, Harper, Sosa, Stott, Turner, and Dylan Moore, who I feel like was up in the air, but at the same time I felt like he was kind of solidified as a roster spot the whole spring training just because he was always brought up, especially on like WIP and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then, I forgot to mention Rojas. Whatever he'll even do this season because he's going to miss the first half of the season, and he's ineligible for playoffs. So he's basically just going to come in for...
he's ineligible for playoffs?
Yeah, he's ineligible.
That's where the Alvarado thing happens. So dude, what do you do with the outfield? You know what's going to happen at the deadline?
Nothing.
No, they're going to trade for another outfielder. And you know what's going to happen for the third year in a row? They're going to let him go in free agency no matter what he did. Because you know what they did with Austin Hayes?
Austin Hayes, yeah. I was just going to bring him up.
He stunk, but that's
he was terrible.
And then you had Bader, who actually contributed to this team and was fantastic within the culture and the fabric of the organization, and they decided to let him go.
Well, dude, he went for a $10 million contract.
Told me we couldn't have gotten $10 million for him. Dude, Adolis Garcia has been on a 2-year slump. Yeah, we paid him just about that money. Really? The way he talked about it, he actually wanted to come back to Philly, so you might not have even had to give him $10 million. He took $10 million because that's what he got.
I don't even know if his bat is the biggest thing you're losing, but you said it. He's such a big culture piece. Yeah. He fit Philly so well. I think it's going to be a bigger loss than just the bat.
I think that honestly the biggest loss is what you said. His impact with that team.
Yeah.
And the city. Everyone actually loved Harrison Bader, including me. If they brought him back, I probably went on record on one of the live streams me and Nick did that I said I'd get a Bader jersey. I would have done it in a heartbeat. But no, I'm not now. Thanks, Dave. You're the man.
All right, well, you want to look a little bit into the series against the Rangers. We got the pitching rotation.
Galore.
Sanchez, Nola, and Luzardo for games 1 through 3.
I'm excited for that.
And Nathan Eovaldi, DeGrom, and Mackenzie Gore, opening day legend against the Phillies after, 10?
He's like the boogeyman.
10 strikeouts last year.
12, I think.
12 strikeouts, even worse.
12 last year, yeah.
I just remember he was absolutely dealing. I was in a Buffalo Wild Wings with my friend Luke. Shout out, Luke. The place was empty, which actually kind of surprised me as Phillies opening day. But
yeah.
we were in awe of Mackenzie Gore. And then I remember going to the bathroom, coming back, and I think Kyle Schwarber went back-to-back with Bryce Harper, I want to say, in that game.
He did go back-to-back.
So
no, not necessarily. Almost back-to-back.
Almost back-to-back.
Boom got out in between that.
Well,
Shocker.
I walked out of a Buffalo Wild Wings bathroom as that second home run was flying, and I was like, all right, these guys are back, and we're winning it all. And that was my problem.
They struck out 19 times. The Phillies struck out 19 times. I'm sorry, it was 13 strikeouts for Mackenzie Gore.
It went to extra, right?
My God. Yeah, it did.
Gosh.
And they pummeled them from there. I was boom, and Realmuto extra base hits to break it open. That was a good opening day.
It was stressful. It's exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah, honestly, to be quite frank with you, it was a very good indicator of what the season would become.
I was going to say, I don't expect anything less.
Those Dodgers games were the most stressful things I've ever watched in my life.
You talking about the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the 3-game series when the Phillies went to L.A. in September, and they won that game to clinch East, and then the next day they had or I think they might have lost. One of the final 2 games, they came back from 5-0 down or something. Yeah. They chased Ohtani out, and then they just pummeled him. That series should have been a real good indicator, and I think I kind of half believed it. Because I'm like, you know what? This will probably happen in the playoffs. I've been around the block enough. I got a few years extra experience on you. I know it happens. I know how it goes. So, yeah, I kind of had a hint that would be how it went. So, and that's how it did. I think that honestly this year, and when you look around at the different teams, the Mets obviously made their jump. I will say, they had to go after pitching. They got Freddie Peralta. So clearly the Mets are going to be another team that is scary. But aside from that, I think a lot of teams regressed. I mean, the Padres lose Cease. The Brewers obviously lost Peralta. And the Braves don't get any younger.
Yeah.
So I think the ironic part is, despite how little the Phillies did, they still are literally a top 3 team in the NL for some odd, godforsaken reason. So they really still have a chance. They got bailed on that. So the Mets I don't see the Mets having 2 bad years, though. So if we move towards records, I have them as a second wild card.
Yeah, I agree. I think
the Padres go over them.
The Mets and the Phillies were in a little bit of a similar position going into this offseason. It was you have to get better. You're good. You have to get that next step. And that's what the Mets did, as much as I hate to admit it. And the Phillies did not.
It's a real...
But I think you mentioned the Braves only getting older, which is true. But, I mean, if this team is healthy, I think it's still someone you have to watch out for. If Strider can come back and be, show what he was...
Yeah,
what was that, 2 years ago?
Injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a couple more injuries now.
Yeah,
they're kind of a mess.
They are, but, when they're healthy, it's a long season, you know what I mean?
The Sixers.
So, yeah.
Like the Sixers with the injuries and then just everything around them crumbling.
Yeah. If they're healthy, it's a long season. I think that's another team you want to watch out for. I don't care about the Nationals or the Marlins.
Yeah, I know. Maybe the Nats will make a good push this year.
Maybe.
They got to.
Yeah.
They got to, man. They've been in purgatory for a long time.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're going to run out of opportunities to get a lottery pick.
Right.
The new rules, they're literally going to get almost timed out of it.
I did want to touch on your point against the Dodgers, just because I feel like last year, especially in the regular season, we played so well against them.
Yeah.
And it was just such a disappointment to see how they played in the playoffs against them, and to just, I mean, we've said it before, but to just go at it again with practically the exact same team. I mean, basically you lost one of your better pitchers and Suarez, and then replaced Castellanos with Garcia, and just lost Bader, unless you consider replacing him with Justin Crawford, a rookie. So
If you want to do that, then I say that's a downgrade.
yeah. So, I mean, basically you're going into the season almost the exact same position, minus one of your best pitchers. Everyone's a year older, which in our case I feel like is not great, just because all of our good guys are,
Older.
They're not, well, maybe Schwarber's in his prime, but I think it's not crazy to say that Harper's out of his prime. Trey Turner's probably out of his prime. JT Realmuto is definitely out of his prime. So I don't know. I mean, I know I'm going to believe, because we'll probably go in and beat the Rangers twice here in the opening series, and I'll be right on board after 3 days.
At the end of the day, this team literally has the talent.
Yeah.
They're still a very talented team. Let's not fool ourselves. If they don't make playoffs, the world's on fire, pretty much. They got to make the playoffs. They probably will. So, I mean, it's not like you're questioning that. You're not in, a situation like the Flyers, where, you're they've been at this for a while. They haven't even made it. They need to make it. I don't even know if they can. With the Phillies, I don't really doubt that they're going to make the playoffs. I think they will. So, the problem is, once you get there, what you look like. In the last 2 years, they have looked god-awful in the playoffs. You make the same mistake again last year, so maybe they'll go for a three-peat of just first-round exits.
Gosh, I hope not.
It's the most realistic thing, sadly, right now.
Yeah.
But hey, let's see. I think I've said this before. Getting all the press as a sports fan, just being I'm never gonna watch again. It's just it's counterintuitive. What do you all right?
It's not gonna happen.
All right,
I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to. So I'm not gonna fool myself with that. And two, how much fun do you have? Any fun when you're just completely always negative 365 24/7?
I don't know. Ask a Jets fan.
Well, they have reason. they prepare themselves for the pain. But the Flyers last night, I guess we'll get into it soon here. But I went into that. I'm you know what? All right. If they have the matchups left, they had the Blue Jackets, and then they have 2 Red Wings games coming up to end the season, along with an Islanders and a Bruins matchup. So they have it right in front of them. So I'm all right, let's go into this. They win this one. Complexion of the season's totally different. I give it a chance. I was disappointed. But if you asked me 24 hours ago, today, if there's a chance there's a chance to lose, why are you still going to watch? I'm well, what if they win?
Exactly.
What else do I do? Why would I be... I already have enough things to stress about in my life. I already have enough things to be angry and mad about in my life. I'd rather be angry at my team, because that's the worst thing in my life right now.
Right.
Is the Flyers, and that's okay. Because they've been the worst team in my life for a while. A very long time, but yeah, I mean...
I don't even have anything to say about them. They're done.
Well, your problem with that...
They're done.
Your problem with that is that it's happened so many years. It's happened so many years in a row. The problem with the Flyers is that they've continued to do the same single solitary thing since 2020. And if you want to go back even further, when they make the playoffs, they never made it past the first round. So you want to go a decade and a half, because that's where I'm about at. A decade and a half of just constant disappointment and failure from a team, my hometown hockey team. So when the U.S. wins at the gold medal in an overtime game-winning goal, of course I lose my mind, because I've never experienced it before. I don't experience that stuff. So that's why it was crazy, I think.
I think the season as a whole was just, handled horribly from a front office perspective. From Tocchet,
Yeah.
He needs to go, I think.
Yeah, it's such a shame that we have to say this a year in, but dude, why can't no one manage Mishkov?
Right.
It's not hard. You have young players, talented rookies.
Right.
Play them. What loyalty do you owe to Sean Couturier? Has he done anything? No. He has not won you a thing. I don't feel any loyalty to the guy or anyone. Let him go, honestly.
Yeah.
Can he retire? drive me nuts.
I think just how they handled. I mean, after that Ducks game where Zegras just went off.
Yeah.
That was the peak of the season. I think the momentum that you had following that game. I mean, it was probably the highest Flyers fans have been since making the playoffs in 2020, and how that was handled, like the momentum and just the losing streak they ended up going on. It's just like it was handled horribly, it was managed horribly, and then the deadline was atrocious, which we said the first episode we did, I'm pretty sure, we were talking about how they said they're not going to sell or buy, and that's literally what they did. Like, they didn't get better, similar to the Phillies. So I think the season just as a whole, you wasted another year of your young guys. You mentioned Michkov. I don't know. It was a shame. It's a shame. It is.
They've done that 2 years in a row now with
Yeah.
Michkov. Like, I don't understand how when you see a guy with that much talent, you're just like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to try and teach him defense to become defensively sound. I don't care, dude. Like, the problem is you can't even say that when you've invested so much into, like, your defense. Like, there's been a lot of, like, defensemen drafted. Like, you had York. You just have a bunch of young guys that you drafted defensively. And, all right, cool, let's let them ride. I don't hate Cam York. I can't stand Ristolainen.
Oh my gosh, I was gonna say I cannot believe he wasn't traded.
Yeah, so that, like, at the end of the day, why do we need, like, a defensively sound forward? Isn't that what Sean Couturier is for? It's supposed to be two-way. All right, great. Oh yeah, he sucks. That's why. Maybe that's why. Maybe I just talked myself into realizing why he needs to play defense because everyone else around him bitterly sucks. Yeah, I think that's it for the Flyers.
I was gonna say I don't
They
have
got
anything
the
else to
Red
say.
Wings on Saturday. I don't know if there's a game in between.
I mean,
However, that's the big game.
I was gonna say I feel like either way, it's like
You
They need so
you gotta win every single. Like,
I mean, you only have like
game.
6 games left. You have to win out.
I think they have 10.
They have 10 games left. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they have 12. They have a game in hand.
they're 8 points back.
They have a
okay.
game or two in hand on a bunch of other teams. However, yes, they are
Like
6 points behind.
6 points.
Yeah, the wild card is kind of a mess right now. The wild card is objectively more difficult to obtain because you have teams in the Atlantic that are probably going to do a little bit better than that. I think that 86 and 85, it would make me feel better if the Penguins were there. Because I got to be honest with you, I think the Penguins are in a... The Penguins are really living on the edge right now. And they're lucky that the Flyers really stink and that the Islanders are just still making their push. The Flyers do have 12 games left. Like I said, they got the Red Wings this Saturday. I think that's my final... They have to win that in regulation, by the way, for me to come back. But I think I'm pretty much out on them right now.
Especially with the Phillies starting,
on
I'm probably
great.
going to be about tuned out with these Phillies starting and the Sixers playoff push, which is actually a realistic thing.
Yeah. I want to talk about the Sixers playoff push because it is a realistic thing.
It's a realistic thing. I'm starting to buy back in.
I think this should be something that in Philly should excite the fans. Like, at this point, all right. Yeah,
it's the same thing every year. Let's put it out there first. At this time of year is when everyone starts buying back into the Sixers. I'm right on the train.
Man, how many more times are we going to get to do this? I know it's depressing and it always ends bad.
It's tradition at this point.
It is tradition. And Paul George gets older, Joel Embiid gets older. They have already proved how incapable they are of building around those guys, so why would you believe that they're going to build around Maxey and Edgecombe well enough to do this again for like a
Chill, they have Marjon Beauchamp.
I want that guy off my team. I got to be honest.
He shot 3 for 11 against the Thunder from 3.
Because I think
he took 11 three-pointers.
Why? Why does it need to have that dude take 11 three-pointers? Just... Every guy that's on that team that like had to get added because of all like the injuries and stuff, all of them remind me of Jared McCain. All roads lead back to Jared McCain for me because I'm so mad that they traded him. So yeah, all of them I don't know. That's just how I feel. So every one of those guys I hate.
Yeah.
My campaign is sorry, like, dude. Bam puts up 83. You go into a press conference and make yourself the center of attention because you put up 30. Like, I think he said something along the lines of,
That's
I'm not going to allow...
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to allow him to take away my shine. Your shine Oh, your shine. Yeah, what shine, dude? You seen this team? There's a shining red glow and it's fire. That's what the shine is. Yeah, but you know what? All rage aside, they do get Paul George back. And they get Embiid back.
Possibly.
They will get him back at some point.
eventually.
Because he got elevated questionable. All right, fine. We're starting to get back. Because you know the Embiid, train here. Right? He went one season. He's doubtful. He's out for, days leading up to games. Once they put him at questionable, they're like, oh, here we go. And he actually usually does come back that same night. So I think he plays. I could
Playing
be
the
wrong.
Bulls.
But if not, I mean, then all right, fine. He'll play next game. It's game time decision right now with the oblique. By the way, I'll stop talking about Embiid's injuries because, all right, fine, let's buy in one more time. But the Joel Embiid injury thing is out of hand. An oblique injury? When did that come up? He's been dealing with knee soreness for 20 years at this point. Is it migrated to his oblique? How does it make sense? And I'm sure everyone else will be happy to know that Janai Broom is out with a knee injury.
Well, wrap up the season then.
I will
say
it's all over.
I will say, speaking
Clemson's
of
almost
role
back.
players who don't get enough credit, not that Janai Broom does, it just reminded me, in these past few games without Embiid and Maxey and Oubre, who's missed a few games, aside from Edgecombe, who we kind of bashed last episode, got to give credit where credit is due. He was phenomenal this week, 38 against the Kings and 35 against the Thunder. Outside of him, Justin Edwards has blown my mind this past week, especially against the Kings, which I know the Kings are horrible. They're one of the worst teams in the league. But he had
Still gotta beat
32. He had 32. He shot 7 for 11 from 3. 4 assists, 2 steals, which is whatever. But I feel like he's more one of the underrated rotation players on this team. We need players to step up, okay? Obviously, we'll have Embiid back for the playoffs. We'll have Maxey back for the playoffs. And you have Edgecombe, Paul George, Oubre. But it's the same thing we've seen all year. This isn't the greatest team of all time. You're going to need guys to step up. I don't know. I like Justin Edwards, dude. I've been on him for a minute, but now he's starting to finally show it. Quentin Grimes has had a good few games, too, which obviously hasn't had a very good season.
To your point about Edgecombe, though, we're talking about how we wanted more from him. Kind of just not a great starts to March, 6 to 21, then 10, 16, 18, 9. All right, can we maybe kind of centralize that to a number of 15 plus a game? Can we get a little more out of them?
Yeah.
38, 22, 35. And,
Thank you very
they
much.
won 2 of those 3 games in that stretch. In the game he had 22, they still beat the Jazz by 10. So I got to say, I think the Thunder game was everything that the Sixers fans need to get out their system. I think a lot of us, I was just brain dead for that game, just so mad. All right, it's done. Move on past it. Still be mad about it, but there's clearly more to look at with this team in regards to the playoffs than just complaining about Jared McCain. Even though I want to, and God bless me if they lose in the play-in and don't make it to the playoffs.
No, because
then there's going to be a problem. I might stand on top of this table for the next podcast after that happens and just berate the franchise. But they gotta focus, man. We gotta focus as a fan base.
Here's actually, you said losing the play, and here's exactly what will happen. And I'm on this camera, right? This is exactly what's gonna happen. They will finish the regular season with the 7 seed. They will win their first play-in game by at least 10 points, and all hopes of Sixers fans will skyrocket. They will get a first-round matchup against the Celtics, have Maxey back, Embiid back, Paul George and Oubre back, and lose in 5. And that is what will happen. I have seen this story too many times, and I'm telling you that is the only way that this season can play out with how it's been.
I gotta be honest. I see a big fiery crash and burn. I see that happening before I see them even making a first-round series competitive. I think it's going to be worse than the Knicks series. And
Oh, gosh.
I'll be honest, I think there's a crash and burn waiting. let's be real. How long have we been avoiding this? How many times have we been on the edge and not been able to break through? Countless. I just have that feeling that it is time for something. Something's got to happen. Something catastrophic's got to happen. They got to either lose in the play or just get absolutely manhandled by the Pistons or the Celtics.
Was last year not enough?
In the first round. No, because they didn't make the playoffs, and they had a lot of injuries last year.
That's true,
but no. See, what has to happen is they need to get their lunch money taken, like a thief, like a bully at the 6th grade lunch table.
And that's what'll happen after a convincing win in the play-in. They're gonna go against the Celtics as the 7 seed.
Oh, like what happened with Nick Batum.
Oh my god.
Nick Batum is
really?
Fourth quarter. Why the bleep Batumin? Yeah,
now we're bringing up past trauma. Let's bring up PJ Walker next.
It was fantastic.
Not PJ Walker, PJ Tucker.
Well, oh my God, PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker had more 1-for-1 games than he did anything else.
I don't know why I said PJ Walker.
And then he'd have games he'd go 0 for 3 from 3. And you're just like, what does he do?
I was at a Sixers game. He's supposed
to be whiz defensively, and he would still get just taken to school.
I was at a Sixers-Celtics game, and I think it was Tucker. It was either him or Batum, and he just hit 3 straight corner threes, and we ended up beating the Celtics, and I was just like, what just happened? It was insane. I think it was Tucker. It might have been Batum, though.
It was a weird era of Sixers basketball.
And
they literally should have won that series, too, against the Celtics back in 2023-24. They absolutely...
Yeah.
Was it
with Harden, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because it
was 22-23. So 23 playoffs. Yeah, they absolutely should have won that series.
When we
in fact, they lost that series. They were 3-2?
3-2, yeah.
3-2 at home. Heading back to Philly, that is the most traumatic loss, besides a Kawhi Leonard loss, I've ever experienced in my life. Easily, man.
Yeah.
At least the Eagles
the next series was rough.
That one was really bad, but
the Celtics,
game 2 is what got me. Once they didn't win game 2, I was out.
Yeah.
I mean, I still watched, but I was kind of wary. I'm like, I don't think it's happening. Game 2, by the way, for the record, it was rigged. I am no problem saying that, because dude, oh my god, oh my god, I'm blanking on the Knicks guy's name. I think I don't know if it was DiVincenzo. No, not DiVincenzo. A guy, it was Hartenstein.
Oh my
Literally
gosh,
went on a podcast a couple weeks ago and said, yeah, we hacked the blank out of him when regards to Tyrese Maxey. And I'm like, yes, I know. Yeah, that was infuriating. But if you can avoid that rage and anger that was given to me and just lose a series normally, I can live with it.
Yeah.
They've never lost a series normally except for the Heat series back in 2022.
Yeah,
they lost the Heat series cleanly to Jimmy Butler and the Heat. So they lost in it was 2021-22. That was my senior year of high school. That sucked.
That was the Hawks year.
No, that was the year before that. That was right off the heels of COVID. Yeah. So you could have the limited fans in there. Imagine there was 19,000 people in there and they saw that.
And Ben Simmons passed it off like that.
Nick keeps on trying to tell me it's Doc Rivers, mostly Doc Rivers' faults for that, and I'm like, dude, you fail to realize that Doc Rivers was not on the court.
Doc Rivers did not.
Ben Simmons was wide open, and against every single possible basketball IQ you grow in your however many years of life, you pass the ball. Doc Rivers can't teach that. I'm sorry. If someone told me to do that, I think he's a blithering idiot and just lay the ball in.
Who do you even pass? Was it?
Matisse Thybulle, he passed.
Yeah, it was the
Of all people, dude.
I was going to say Markelle Fultz, but he was off the team at
No.
that point.
Markelle Fultz would have dropped it out of bounds.
Gosh.
He would have let it bobble off his hands, and he would have had a pinky injury for the whole next season.
I kind of miss those years. Furkan Korkmaz and Shake Milton.
I'm more of a Landry Shamet or
Shamet.
Timothy Luwawu type
gosh.
guy. I'm a TLC type guy. I didn't even think he was that bad. He's just, he's just one of those guys who play 10 minutes a game. Gosh. It's all right, he does his purpose. He doesn't completely kill the team.
The Sixers
he just doesn't really
do
much except for every 5 games.
They've had some years.
I think maybe
they need to do something.
I think maybe next episode, there's a sports quiz. I think Sporkle or
Yeah,
whatever. And there's like a actual quiz, like all the Sixers from the process years.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe we ought to do that next time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because that's one of my favorite like topics on Sporkle. I'll just like look up Sixers like process years or any like Sixers quiz, and it's just like I don't know. It's pretty crazy, man.
Does it still count as the process? Like, how far does it go?
It goes all the way back to I think 2012.
Well, I know, but when does it end?
It ends when they made the playoffs the first time.
Okay.
So I believe 2017, 2018. They might have added that in, might not have. But it was just, dude, you think of all these obscure names, man, like Hollis Thompson, Jakar Sampson, Christian. By the way, Christian Wood was a Sixer.
Christian
And
Wood.
so was Nikola Vucevic.
Yeah.
And you know what the trade, when they traded him
Mikal
away?
Bridges.
No,
No,
Nikola Vucevic. They traded him for Andrew Bynum. And that was the same year that Bynum injured his foot while bowling. True story. Look it up. It happened.
We've had great management all along.
And then 3 years later, Joel Embiid broke his foot, and he missed that first season.
First two.
This team is cursed, and when people try and tell me that we're not, and I'm just like overreacting, I encourage them to be a Sixers fan for 10 years. They will genuinely hate their life by the end of it. It's bad.
It's bad.
It's not good, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping something good comes of that. Let's see. We want to hit the Eagles?
I was
Or
gonna
any
say,
Eagles?
yeah, wrap
or?
it up the same way we usually do with the Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean, not too much. It's been a quiet-ish. Honestly, I wouldn't even say quiet because Howie's made a lot of moves, a lot of, smaller moves. The only departure they had, so they traded Sidney Brown to the Falcons and exchanged 4th and 6th round picks.
Thus ending the chaotic Sidney Brown career with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Which I think is interesting to look at. I feel like it's the only one of Howie's misses in the first few
Yeah.
rounds over the past years.
These are from Illinois, right?
Yeah. And then they did bring back Marcus Epps, and they signed JT Gray, who's like probably not even going to make the roster. But basically, you're looking at Makuba and Marcus Epps as the two safeties right now. It was a draft concern. It was our number one need before that, and now it is most definitely their number one need. If Downs drops, which after the injury in the combine is not impossible, and just positional value for a safety, if he's still there at 12,
Yeah.
don't be surprised if Howie moves up. Brought back Fred Johnson.
I was trying to find, real quick. I was trying to find that video of, like, Sidney Brown returning, like, a kick or something, like, knees the Giants guy in the face.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He
'Cause I
wasn't
saw
returning
that-
it. It was the Cowboys.
Oh, my
It was
God.
on special teams. I think.
No, I think there's actually another clip. Yeah, because
Oh,
I know what
really?
you're talking about, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fight. Yeah, maybe while I want to try and
Yeah,
find
yeah.
that because I saw a video and I thought it was just absolutely hysterical.
All right, you find that. I'll go over the rest of these.
Yeah.
They brought back Fred Johnson, who, filled in for Lane Johnson a little bit through the end of the season there, and is just a big locker room presence from what I've seen. Is a culture guy, and another experienced guy to bring back with the loss of Jeff Stoutland. They signed Damian Pierce, who I'm just going to assume is going to fight for that RB3 role with Shipley. Where did you find it? All right, let's see. Oh, my gosh.
Like,
I don't
what
think
was
I've
the
ever seen
point?
that. Of course, it's on no context.
And then
film.
and then they
Yeah.
show the fight. Yeah, so I saw that video and he is the most chaotic Eagle.
Yeah, he is.
It's
He was
What was
horrible.
that?
He was all right on special teams. He was
It
a
wasn't
horrible
great.
safety.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Damian Pierce. Don't know if he's even going to make the roster. Maybe he's a special teams guy. They traded for Andy Dalton, which actually happened like 30 minutes after we stopped filming the last episode.
That's true. That did happen.
Exchanged 7th round picks, so it'll be him, McKee, and they'll probably get rid of Jalen Hurts now that they have Andy Dalton.
I gotta be honest. I know it's a 7th round pick, and it probably won't matter. But what was it need?
I don't
What
know.
was it need for a 3rd string quarterback?
You have McCord on the
being Andy
practice
Dalton.
squad.
Yeah, rest in peace to Kyle McCord. It was a great
Jersey.
story until
He was horrible in the
realism set in.
preseason.
Yeah, until we began to be real with ourselves and realize what he actually was. Shout out, happy trails.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest move they've made this week was Elijah Moore, and I mean he's going to be the receiver 4, probably behind Hollywood Brown. But it's for the fact that him and AJ Brown are literally best friends. They lived together in college.
Really?
Apparently, AJ Brown saved his life in college.
Yeah. I did hear that. Yeah.
And Elijah Moore, I just saw a tweet a little bit ago. I don't have it up right now, but it was him on a treadmill, and he tagged AJ Brown and said, like, I don't know. He was basically trying to get recruited to the Eagles. So
Yeah.
for all you people, I actually saw someone say that like the signing of Elijah Moore and Hollywood Brown means A.J. Brown is gone, which one is ridiculous because they don't even compare to A.J. Brown. But two, Elijah Moore signing with us, I feel like only confirms that A.J. Brown is staying because that's literally his
Yeah.
best friend. So
I think
I think you can shut down those rumors.
I think the good thing is, like, you also look at, like, compare this to last year's. I think it's better. It's a better wide receiver room because your wide receiver 3 was Jahan Dotson.
Right.
And not that he's bad, but I think the Hollywood Brown's an upgrade over him in terms of what he can do. They're not too far off, but I do think that is an upgrade. And then you're able to, as a wide receiver 4, to get a guy like Elijah Moore. Better
adding some
depth, better
speed.
depth in that on that back end of the
Yeah.
wide receiver room, which is good. Always good to see.
And I think with Hollywood Brown, obviously, and Elijah Moore, you're bringing like a speed aspect that we really haven't had since 2022 with Quez Watkins.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously 2023
Yeah,
it was
his
like
moments.
Zacchaeus and Pascal and
Yeah.
Julio Jones. Last year, I mean, Dotson and
It all felt like the
mean,
same guy too.
yeah, exactly. So Hollywood Brown is a definitive like good wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
Elijah Moore is a good wide receiver 4. And I brought it up. It was actually Elijah Moore saved A.J. Brown's life. He had some mental health problems, I guess, in
Yeah.
college is what I'm seeing. So I think
close.
that just solidifies the fact that A.J. Brown is staying. He's not going anywhere. And, yeah, I mean, besides the fact that we talked about it last time, but it goes along with everyone here. Everyone they have signed in free agency has been to a 1-year deal, which just means I think they're going to be next year, the offseason, Philly fans are going to be pissed because they're just going to be extending guys and not bringing any new people in, which you have to extend your great players. DeJean, Carter, Quinyon Mitchell,
Yeah.
the list goes on, Nolan Smith maybe. So if you thought this offseason was quiet, get ready for next offseason. Hopefully we'll be on top again. I don't think it's impossible.
No, not at all. It's totally,
And
it's
I
totally
think it'll
doable.
depend a lot on Sean Mannion.
Yeah.
But
Well-
that's all I have. Draft's coming up.
Yeah.
But I don't have anything new to say from last week because just talked about safeties and
Pretty much.
same thing here. Just lost another safety, so.
Yeah. All right. I think we're good. I think we're out. That'll do it for this edition of the 215 Sports Podcast. That was Donovan Kranich. I'm Jack Morgan. We'll see you next week. And hey, Phillies. Hey, Sixers. Please don't mess up. Let's go. Should be a fun season up ahead. We'll see you guys next week on the 215 Sports Podcast.